Hello everyone. Today we'll just be going through a custom game update manager for Unity. Just a quick overview of what that is. A custom game manager, it's a common design choice you'll see in kind of intermediate to large size games that have hundreds or even thousands of objects calling update each frame. It kind of allows us to remove the overhead from Unity's base update and set different update priority tiers so everything doesn't need to be called each frame. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way, we're going to implement our update manager in code. So this is just a quick example script for moving, and it's being called an update using Unity's built-in method. So now I have our update manager class. You can just create that, call it game update manager, and there's three classes we're going to make. We're going to make a priority enum, an updatable interface, and the manager itself. So here in my enums directory, I'm just going to create class enum and call it update priority. And inside here, very simple, you can just say high, medium, and low. And these are our three priorities which we're going to group our updates by. Then in my interfaces, I'm going to go add class interface and call this iUpdateable. And in here, very simple, just a public void on update, and it's going to take a float delta time. And there we go. These are our two classes. So now we have both of those made. We can head over to our update manager. And what we're going to do is we're going to create three separate lists for our three update priorities. So that's going to be a private read-only list of iUpdateable. And we're going to call it high priority updatables. Just going to quickly import missing references. It doesn't like the word updatables, so I'll just call it updates. Private low priority updates. And in the middle, we want our medium priority updates. There we go. Then once we have our lists created, we're going to create our update intervals for our timers. So we'll declare a constant float medium update interval, and we can set that to 0.15 times per millisecond, and low update interval can be 0.4 times a millisecond. So in a quick example of medium update, let's say you have a tower defense game and you have a tower that's scanning for enemies. It doesn't need to scan 60 times a second. It could still very accurately get updates if it's scanning 5 or 6 times a second. Then for low update interval, if you have AIs and pathfinding, they don't need to be checking for a new path 60 times a second. They can instead very easily get away with 2 or 3. That's where you can see the kind of update, because already an AI call will be very expensive. And going from calling it 60 times to only calling it 3 times is a massive save in your processing. So then just to pair with these, because we're going to do a quick just timers, and just go plus equals time dot delta time down below. So now we're going to do our private float void. Actually, I'll make a function called iterate, just so we don't have to copy paste our for loop. And I'll just pass through a list of updates. And inside of here, we're just going to do a classic for loop. Int I equals 0, I lower than updates dot count, I plus plus, and we'll say updates I on update. And now this is only a very tiny thing, but it will suggest you use a for each loop, but you can actually get using a classic for loop, I've been told, is more efficient. So I like to keep with that in a kind of high performance system like this. So then we're going to have our private void high priority update. And inside here, we're going to say iterate. Why would it suggest medium priority? We're going to iterate our high priority updates. Then we're going to do the same thing, private void medium priority update. We're going to say medium timer plus equals time dot delta time. If medium timer is greater than, if is less than, here we're going to return early. Otherwise, we're going to iterate through our medium priority updates, and we're going to reset our timer to 0. So what this is just doing is we're going plus equals time with delta time. If we're less than 0.15, we're returning. Once we get to 0.15, we're iterating and resetting back to 0. And then we're doing the exact same for our low priority update. We're just saying low timer plus equals if low timer less than low update interval, we're returning. Then we're going to iterate low priority updates, and we're going to set our low timer to 0. So now we've got our updates done, we're going to handle the registration and deregistration of updatables. So for that, we want to say public void register, and we're going to pass through an iUpdatable, and we're going to pass through an update priority, and call this priority. Sorry. There we go. And we're going to make a switch statement of our priority, and it's going to encourage you to create the sections. So in here, all we're going to do is high priority updates, add this, medium priority, add update, low priority, add update. And there we go, that's our registration. And for our unregistration, just doing unregister update. And we're going to do if high updates dot remove update return, if medium priority updates dot remove update return, and then we'll just say low priority updates dot remove update return. So we're just checking, is it in high? If it is, let's remove it. We're checking, is it in medium? If it is, we'll remove it. And if it's not in these two, it's in low update, remove it. And you can add a null check in here, but just for the tutorial's sake, I want to just keep it quick and simple. So now that we have our registration and our update logic, we want this update manager to be a singleton, so it can be accessed throughout the whole project. So we want to make it a game update manager instance, get private set up there. And then at the bottom in our Unity methods, we're going to say private void awake if instance doesn't equal null and instance doesn't equal this. We're going to say destroy this and return. Otherwise, we're going to say instance equals this. And don't destroy on load game object. Then in our private void update, this is our single Unity update call in the whole project. We're going to say, we're going to iterate through our high priority updates, then our medium priority updates, and then our low priority updates. And there you can kind of see the simplicity of this method coming out. And now then, now that we have that done, if you would like, we're going to go to our test movement. And instead of having this update, we're going to say iUpdatable. And we're going to import the function. And in here, we're going to call our move. We're going to delete this. And we're going to say private void on enable. We're going to say game update manager dot instance dot register this update priority high. Now it's a high priority update. Then in on disable, we need to unregister. So here you go. You're replacing your void update with your on enable register, on disable unregister, and your on update implementation from your interface extension. So then, just to add on to that, if you want to add iFix updatable, on fix update, and ilate updatable, on late update, and then you're just making additional lists in here. So yeah, that's it for the custom game update manager. If you have any questions, comment below. You can join the Discord, and you can use, I have a link down below. I have a website for all my tutorials with some code examples and more details into the whys, what's it good for, when not to use it, which you can reference as you're implementing this in your own project. But that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and good luck in your project.